Hey guys, welcome back to Creativity and Inspiration. I'm Lisa. How's everyone doing? I am glad you are here, or I am glad you've come back. Today is a little bit of a different video. We are talking scrapbook paper and all the different ways you can use it in your home decor. With prices going out of control, paper is still one of the most affordable, and it's high, but it's not as high as some types of paper or fabrics, that sort of thing. So today we are going to talk about different ways that you can use scrapbook paper. Before we do, I do want to apologize if you hear a slight buzzing in the background. I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not. My neighbor is having a tree cut down, and I have tried to wait for them to finish. I don't think they're going to finish today. So we're going to go ahead with our video. So before we jump into all the different ideas for scrapbook paper, let's talk colors. Because obviously you're going to pick what goes in your home, what patterns go, what colors, and that's great because you know what? Scrapbook papers come in all colors, all patterns, and you can totally create a very unique design that matches with your decor. So let's get started, and we're going to go from basically easiest ideas to the ideas that will take a little more time but still won't break the bank for your home. And it's a new year. Even I know it's February already, but still just the first of the new year, and who doesn't want to freshen up your space? Maybe it will help you get over the winter blues. Maybe it'll give you a good outlook for 2026. Let's go. Oh, these are my papers. These are just a few I have pulled out of my stash in there. The pinks and blues are from the vintage scrapbooking kit, paper kit with die cuts and all that I got. And then the purple is a watercolor kit I bought. I just wanted to show you just different options, and it doesn't all have to be florals, doesn't all have to be pinks. Again, you can get solids, whatever goes with your home. Let's go. And yes, we're going to start super easy. Just frame it. Find an ornate frame or a simple frame, whatever goes with your home decor, and cut your paper down and frame it. You can make a gallery wall using just different scrapbook papers if you want, or you can mix in some framed scrapbook papers into a gallery wall. You can also do one in a very pre-frame and set it on a nightstand. You can also frame them and put them in the bathroom. Framed scrapbook papers are very versatile and will go anywhere. Okay guys, our next idea is as a shelf or a liner for the back of a shelf, a cabinet. You could cut these and put them in. If it's your shelf, of course, you can always glue them in. You can tape them in, whatever works for you. But you would measure it and put it in the back of your shelf, and it really makes the back of the shelf pop. So it's a great way to take a bland piece of furniture like a plain white or black or brown bookcase and add a pop of interest, texture, and color. You can also do the paper down onto the shelf itself, fold it over, crease it, and create a nice overhang. It just changes the shelf up totally. You can also line your drawers with scrapbook paper, cut it down, glue it in place, and you'll have a really pretty look for your kitchen. And of course, if you put it in a drawer, before you put in, you might want to, after you've measured and cut, you might want to coat them in a Mod Podge. That way they're wipeable, but you still get a really pretty look in your drawer. You can also do this in cabinets as well. Another idea is to take a plain frame, cut out any florals or patterns you might have, and attach the florals to the frame itself. It's going to add interest and a lot of cool detail and would go good with my butterfly because butterflies love florals. I might turn the butterfly upside down and have the florals going that way, like it's flying towards them, because we all know butterflies love flowers. Another great idea for scrapbook paper is to wrap old books. Now this is a wrapping paper that was two-sided, but you could totally do it with two different scrapbook papers as well. And if I get tired of this look, I could always come back with my scrapbook paper and create a different look with different colors. That is the really great thing about scrapbook paper. Another great use for scrapbook paper is lampshades. Now with this one, you do want to be careful because sometimes a light bulb can get hot. You really want to do this on more modern lamps. They have more temperature control than vintage lamps. But you just measure out your scrapbook paper. You can cut it, fold it, and attach it with a glue that is not going to melt in a high temperature. You could use double-sided tape. You could, use whatever you are comfortable using. But look how pretty that would look wrapped in a beautiful scrapbook paper. Now another great use for scrapbook paper is to create interesting placemats. You could use a regular placemat, measure out. You probably have to attach two pieces of paper together, trim them to the right length. But how pretty would a placemat like this be on a solid tablecloth? Layer your placemats in your tablecloths. Or even better yet, this is fabric that I got at a thrift store. Isn't it pretty? That's going to be a table runner and a china cabinet runner. But what you can do is also make table runners. And we're actually going to do this at the end of the video. So we will come back to the table runner idea and I will show you what I am thinking with that. So why are we staring at the bottom of my wall? Well, I have a chair rail in my dining room. If you don't, you can add if you own your home, but if you don't, it's fine. You can create a faux chair rail. But what you can do is use scrapbook paper to create a tiled look on the bottom. A lot of times people use paint. Paint is great and easy, and you could paint the top part of your chair rail any color you want. But the bottom, you could attach scrapbook paper to your wall in a tiled effect. That's one way to do it, and put light paint between them, like the grout. You could also get foam board, or thin pieces of plywood and attach to the wall, and then attach the scrapbook paper to the plywood or the foam board. And then you would have like a cool wallpaper effect. You could do it on a small wall. This is a very short pony wall in my dining room. I could do it here. It wouldn't take much scrapbook paper, and it would add a little bit of interest. But even if I did the whole room, if I am mixing a pattern with a solid, or I'm doing all pattern, it's not going to be that expensive, because you can just buy tons of paper like this for pennies on the dollar. Or $1, probably $1 now. So doing the bottom of a chair rail in your home with scrapbook paper to give it a very unique look would be out of this world. Coat it with a Mod Podge after you're done, something that is wipeable. But guys, and if you do it attached to the foam board or the thin plywood, you could change it out if you ever wanted to. And I know how many of us get sick of a design pretty fast and change it a lot. This is a great way to do it. Now, I think our kitchen cabinets are probably the thing the most of us get totally bored with all the time. But it's expensive to change out the doors. It's expensive to paint or do something to the doors, and then to do the frame as well. But there are ways you can freshen up your cabinet doors. You can cover the faces with scrapbook paper. Now, if they're your cabinet doors and you just want to attach it with glue or whatever, go for it. I would do it in the center of this one down here, or I would do it on the face of the drawer. If you're renting, what you could do first is get painter's tape, just like this, and measure it to the front of your door that you're going to cover with scrapbook paper, and make sure it's exactly where you're going to put your scrapbook paper, and cover the whole section in this. And you're going to cut it off so it's even, and then you attach your scrapbook paper to the layer of tape, which is covering the whole face you want to cover. And when you're done, you can reach under there and peel it off, and the paper will just come off. So painter's tape creates a barrier, and you attach your scrapbook paper to that barrier. That's a great way to add pops of color to your kitchen cabinets without breaking the bank and painting everything inside. Now, our last idea is for our doors. And this is kind of the same as the kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets. You're just going to do a panel. The inside panels on this one right here. Or you're going to do the inside panels on a door like this. This is a laundry room door. The other one was a garage door. You can coat this inside raised panel with the painter's tape again, and then layer your paper on that. If it's your home and you want to, you can Mod Podge it on. And if you use the indoor Mod Podge, the one that's not waterproof, get it all on there. If you get tired of it, come back with hot soapy water, and it should just peel off, but there probably would be some damage. Just know that. But like I said, if it's your house and you like to DIY all the time, definitely these panels are a good option. If you wanted to, you could get that really thin board. It's like paper almost. It's very breakable, and attach it by screwing it in and then putting the Mod Podge on that. If you want balsa wood, that's what it is. You could attach a piece of balsa wood and then put the scrapbook paper on the balsa wood. That's an option as well. But take notice, a lot of these doors are plastic or metal. It's hollow, you hear that? It's hollow and it's plastic. Our doors are not wood anymore unless you live in an older home. So be aware if you try to screw into them. If you wanted to put balsa wood and some glue or some Velcro strips, that's an option too. So guys, that's an idea of how you can use scrapbook paper in your home decor. It's cheaper than wallpaper or fabrics, and it gives you an option to change things that you might not be able to change otherwise. Now, I talked about making a table runner, and I was going to show you how I would do that. And because my home is very, not shabby chic, but sort of shabby chic, I'm going to use some of this plain cotton fabric and my scrapbook paper in my hand, which I'm going to use the pink and white flowers, and I'm going to use the solid pink, and then I'm going to use this creamy colored one that goes with the fabric. And I'm going to show you how you can create a quilted table runner. You can also cut it short and make a quilted placemat. You could also use this quilting pattern to create junk journal covers and junk journal pages, because there's nothing more homey feeling than something quilted. I don't know about you, but when I see quilted patterns, it totally reminds me of my grandmother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and I'm just going to cut 4-inch squares basically out of all my paper, and I'll probably get about 9 squares per piece. And I have 4 sheets of paper, so there'll be about 36 scrapbook paper squares, and then I will fill in with my plain cotton fabric right here. And we're going to do this. So we're going to go into the craft room and cut and stitch it all together real quick, and you'll see how easy it is and how it looks on the table. Once you get your squares cut out, all you do is take your fabric and cut your table runner length out of it, whatever you want it to be. So I'm going to use these folded lines and cut on there because I don't want it to be super fat. So I'm going to do that if I can find where I put the scissors. So if you notice the way I had this fabric folded, there's little squares everywhere. Guys, that's the best way to fold your fabric into where it ends up in one square, and when you unfold it, it looks like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper and stitch every few squares my square of paper on. And we'll fill it up, and we'll have a really cool table runner. Now, if you want, before you do this, wrinkle up your square, get it kind of soft because your fabric's soft, and you might need to manipulate it, and you don't want it to be stiff because of the paper. I like that look. You don't have to if you don't. You could always wrinkle it and then iron it with an iron. Just cover it with some, a towel. Cover it with a towel. Okay, I'm going to stitch on my fabric in these squares that I made by the way I folded it. Okay guys, I got it all stitched up. Look how cute. So let's go put it on the table and see how it looks. But you can see all the papers on there. Super cute. You can press it at this point if you want. Whatever you want to do. I'm going to keep the little styrofoam risers under here because it's what my candles and my mushrooms are sitting on. I think it looks so cute. Okay guys, well that's how you can incorporate scrapbook paper very easily into your decor. I showed you 12 ideas and we went from the easiest to do to the most in-depth. So let me know which one was your favorite down below in the comments. Take care, and I will see you this week. Bye-bye. Oh, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that little bell, and don't forget, share my channel with your friends. Thanks guys. Give it a thumbs up. Bye.